This is Stan Fischler, and this is the Power Play Break, the place to talk about pucks.
Back here with Mark Howe at the Brick City Grill in Newark. Mark, okay, you're going to go to Houston. Your dad wants to come back. He retired 2 years prior. He's 45. What was that like, taking the whole family, packing up and leaving Michigan and heading down to Houston? You know, nobody knows Houston, Texas for hockey. I mean, it's a football town, you know, it's a baseball place. I mean, and the rodeo and everything else. Here comes a bunch of guys from Michigan who are going to play hockey. I mean, odd, strange?
No, the biggest thing is like I said, I have tunnel vision. I'm just geared up to play. And Marty and I used to run a hockey school in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, and I used to be on the ice 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 4 weeks. So when I got down there, like I was flying. Well, back then you used to skate twice a day for 3 weeks before you ever played a game. And the first day, the coach would blow the whistle, and the guys they spent 2 weeks trying to get in a little bit of shape. Well, here we are flying up and down the rink. The guys are going over and telling my dad, "Hey, tell the kids to slow down a little bit. They're making us look bad." So that's how it started. But no, and at the time there was 50,000 people a month moving into Houston. It was a growing, thriving city at the time. And here I am, an 18-year-old kid in the South, and it was fun to be there. We had a good time, like I said, and I loved to golf. The team rules were you couldn't golf on the day of a game, and other than that, they wanted you to take a cart. And I used to walk, but I said, well, yeah, I'll gladly take a cart. So you could play golf on non-days, and we had a winning team. So it was fun because Coach Deneen would allow if there was a golf tournament going on, say at noon, well, he'd push practice up to 9 in the morning. So we'd skate in the mornings every week and make the golf tournament. Or if guys were duck hunting or whatever, and that was a little later on. But I know at camp I was nervous, and I used to suffer from migraines, and I used to get dehydrated sometimes, and it was fine. I think it was day 3 or day 4. Bill Deneen finally came over, and I was suffering real bad migraines. And Bill said, "Look, you've made the team. Just relax." And I'm one of those guys. A few little words mean a lot. And I did relax, and then I felt much more comfortable. And then the process began of Marty and I spent time watching Dad. And even though he played 50 games a year with the alumni, it's not the same.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. I mean, here's your dad, he's 45. Most guys at 45 have been sitting on the couch for a long time. They're playing golf, they're drinking beer, they're having a good time. Did you ever doubt your dad's ability to make that team? Did you and Marty ever say, I don't think Dad's going to make it. I think he might have a heart attack. Look, he's turning purple.
It wasn't so much about him not making it. It was, there was days when Marty and I would get together and we basically said, look, we're worried about Dad. And we went and told my mom one day, we said, this is really hard on him. He's turning different shades of purple on the ice and trying to hang with everybody. And but anybody who knows Gordie Howe, he is a physical specimen. And it took him about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to get up to stride. Where I was skating circles around him. After that, it was just I've never seen an athlete with the stamina he has. He could skate full speed, full minute and a half, 2 minute shift, and just fly the whole time. So it wasn't long where I went from worrying about him trying to catch up to him. So it was great. And I think anybody that plays a sport, you really appreciate when you have an opportunity to play with a great athlete. And that great athlete happened to be my father. But to witness the way he played that year and also the next year, at 45, 46, he was the best player in that league by far. So it was something to behold.
Did he act as more of mentor and protector for you and Marty, or did he just say hey guys, this is what you have to do, kind of a thing, and he just let you go?
Let you go, and that's how my parents were. They go out, experience life. Obviously, when you did things wrong as a kid and you got spanked by Mom or whatever. Mom was a disciplinarian for the most part, but Dad had, like I said, very, very few unsolicited things to say, advice for me. And I remember first game of the year, first regular season game was in Los Angeles. We win the game. I'm back at the hotel, and like I said, I just turned 18, and the drinking age was 21. Well, they found a play. Well, I had a few drinks, and so I come walk in the hotel, and I have a date with me, and Dad's with some friends from Michigan, and he just kind of looks and smiles and laughs, and he being a father, doesn't say anything. Next day, we get on a plane at 7 in the morning. We fly to somewhere. We get into Edmonton at 3 in the afternoon. Get on a bus, have a little bite to eat, go right to the rink. Now we're dressed to play. It's not no chartering and stuff like that nowadays. And during the game, I'm out there, and like my dad told me before, don't ever back down. And here it comes, and I have my head down and look up, and I see this guy go, oh, I'm taking him on. Next thing you know, my stick, gloves, everything was big. Jim Harrison ran me over, like I always say, a Volkswagen or a semi going over a Volkswagen. And so I gathered myself. We ended up losing the game after the game, and I was sitting next to Dad in the locker room. And his advice was, and his subtlety is, did you learn anything last night? That's all he had to say. And I think one other time, maybe about a year later, he said, look at this guy, and this guy. He said, they're all like 30, 31. He goes, with the way they live, their careers are going to be over in a year or two. He said, you're only 18, you'll be turning 19. The things you do today are going to make a difference when you're 30 years old. So you start deciding now what type of thing you want to do. So, yeah, that was kind of advice. But other than that, it was like anything else. You learn your life experiences through yourself. And if I wanted advice, I asked for it, and the door was always open.
Guys in awe of him?
Oh, yeah.
Guys like, oh my God, Gordie Howe's on my team, or I'm playing against Gordie Howe. I mean, is that pretty much the nature of the beast at that point? Or?
Yeah, guys playing with him, guys playing against him. And it's funny. I mean, like here we are sitting in a little bar atmosphere. All the years that I played, and all the players that I played with who at some point played against my dad, they all come up as you're sitting there, whether you're having a beer, having a sandwich, or just chit-chatting, they all had to tell me, see this scar? See this? Every single player had a story of how Gordie Howe got them. I said it's like me having a respect for Dennis Potvin thing where you remember stuff. All those guys remember what Gordie Howe did. See this tooth missing? Everybody had their story. A great Hall of Famer, Dave Keon. I remember one day we're sitting there having lunch. He told me the story. Anybody watched Dave Keon play? He played 23 years, whatever. His last year, I think he got his 101st, 102nd penalty minute of his career, and he used to do that patented hook check. And he said, I remember the first time I played against your dad, and I hooked the puck and took it away, went the other way, and all the guys on the bench in Toronto said, oh, don't watch yourself. He said, I'm not touching Gordie. I know of his reputation. He said he did it a second time, and he said when he did it the third time, he said he woke up the next day in a hospital. And so, I mean, Davey had to tell me, he said, Dad, instead of carrying the puck out, or in close to him, he had the puck a little, so now David's reaching out, his chin sticking out. Well, that famous elbow came.
The elbow came, and that's
there,
it.
There it went, yeah. So, so the rule he told me, he said that's the day he learned, there's the puck on the ice, but when it's Gordie's puck, it's Gordie's puck. Don't take it from Gordie.
74-75, you guys win Avo Cup championships. How special was that to win with Dad and the whole family down there? I mean, family seems to be very important throughout the house. But I mean, here you are with your dad. I mean, you think about it, how many guys can say in professional sports, I've played with my father? There's not a huge list. How many guys can say, I won back-to-back championships with my father? I mean...
Yeah, I know. I like to. He won the MVP of the league that year. He was by far one of our best players in the playoffs. And not only for our personal Howe family, but anybody who knows Coach Bill Deneen, and Bill's one of the nicest, kindest people I've ever met in the game of hockey. He created that atmosphere amongst his players. So, I mean, you cared about all your teammates so much, and from the trainers to everybody on that team, and it was a total team. And actually, this young guy, I wasn't very good in the finals. All of our older Larry Lund, Murray Hall, Teddy Taylor, our captain, Paul Popeil, the list goes on. All our older experienced guys, they're the guys that won our championship for us. And the first year, the second year, I was a lot better that year, and we brought in a goalie, Ronnie Graham, he won the MVP. Actually, probably beat me out of the MVP that year and deserved it. But it's all in any team anywhere that wins. It's always about team, and that team feels like a family when they win, and that'll never change.
When we get back, we're going to talk about the move to the Hartford Whalers after this.